What's going on, guys? Welcome to your 17th Java Game Applet tutorial. Welcome back, and in today's tutorial we're going to add some more platforms and kind of optimize the way that we add those platforms. Because well, first just jump into your starting point class and we'll get started. As you can see, we have two platforms now, and if we wanted to create more platforms, we'd have to do P3 and then set up everything. But again, if you guys watched the last series, you're kind of familiar with arrays, and we're going to use a platform array to generate as many platforms as we want. We're only going to deal with 7 because that's more than enough than our game needs. So we're going to set up this platform, make it an array by, again, the square brackets there, set this equal to a new platform array. So we're just going to say a new platform, and we're going to pass in the number of platforms we want to have total. So we're going to have 7. There's never going to be more than 7 platforms on our screen at a time. So there we go. We've now set up a platform array, and we're just going to go throughout our code and tweak some things. So we're going to go first to our start method, and we're going to set up all 7 of our platforms that we have defined. And again, we do this with a for loop. So we're just going to say for int I is equal to 0, semicolon, as long as I is less than our array, which is called p dot length, and that just returns how many items are within our array, so that'll return 7, and then we're just going to say semicolon and then I plus plus. So we're just going to cycle through this for loop 7 times, and within that for loop we're going to cut out this code here, paste it, and we're going to add our brackets to our specific platform that we are setting up. And we're going to start with the platform in our platform array at the position 0, and then go position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 7 different platforms, even though it's just 0 through 6. So we're going to place our I in here, and we're going to create a new platform, and that will define all 7 of our platforms for us. But the thing that we want to do is we want to add another random, we could have done this a different way, but we're just going to do another random object, r equal to new random. So now that we have a random object set up, we're going to define the x and y position of our starting platforms. So for our x position, we're first just going to start our x to be, the width of our applet. So we're just going to say get width. And that refers to, again, our applet size. So we're going to get something like, I think, oh man, I don't even remember how big our applet is. 800, it's right there. So that's going to return 800 for us. And then we're also going to set up our y position to be a random. So we're going to refer to that r variable we just set up. We're going to say next int, and we're going to pass in a randomness of about 400. So that's pretty good, but if we run it, you'll see it's not perfect. The next thing that we want to do is add some spacing, because this will generate all 7 of our platforms at the width of our applet. So they'll all be created pretty much in the same x coordinates. They might be random y values, but they'll all be right on top of each other pretty much. So that's going to be a lame game. And so what we're going to do is we're going to add just like a difference of 200 times I, because again we're going to cycle through 7 times, so this will give it a varying degree of space between each platform. And now we have our x position set up. We also want to set up our y position, because right now our platforms will be from the top of our applet down 400 pixels, and it'll set up all of our platforms within that space, but we want our platforms more towards the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to say get height. Again, this is referring to the height of our applet, and we're going to say, and that's going to return 600, and then we're just going to minus out a random number between 400. Now, one thing that might happen when we do this, perfect example right here, we're going to have a cutoff platform at the bottom, because again we could have a platform created right at the bottom. If this random returns 0, it's going to create a platform right at the bottom. So what we also want to do is we want to add a variable. We're just going to set 40 in there, because that's the height of our platform. So anyways, we're just going to add plus 40. No, actually, let's see. Subtract 40 Terrible tutorial. What's wrong with me today? Anyway, so we're going to subtract 40. So now our platforms are going to be generated anywhere from pretty much the bottom up 400 pixels plus the height of our platform. And it's going to create platforms within there. The next thing that we have to do, we just have to exit out of this platform 2 because, you know, we've already set up all 7 platforms that we want here. So as you can see, we didn't really add that many lines of code, but it will set up 7 platforms for us a lot quicker than going P, P2, P3, P4. And then what we're going to do is go down to our run method of our thread, and we're going to, you know, do another for loop here. So we're going to say for int I equal to 0, semicolon, I is less than, again, p dot length, and then semicolon, and I plus plus. Whoops, plus plus. All right, and then you know, we're just going to call our update for each one of our platforms within our array again. So instead of saying p dot update, we're going to say p square bracket I, and that's going to, you know, cycle through for each one of our platforms, and it's called the update method. We're going to also delete this p2 update because, again, this little handy for loop sets up everything for us. And might as well just copy this for loop and go down to the paint method, because lastly we have to paint all of our platforms. So we're just going to, you know, go in here, and instead of update, we're going to say paint, and instead of this B, we're just going to say G within here. So that'll paint all of our platforms, and then we're just going to delete these two P paint and P2 paint methods there. And now our game is starting to look pretty sweet. So let's run this, and hopefully we don't have any errors, and hopefully it looks somewhat, you know, decent at least. So let's run this bad boy, and we got something like this. So you know, just the basics of our game, and as you notice, each platform will be relatively spaced, about the same there. And then, you know, we can just jump from platform to platform, and then it's going to create a random variance when it recreates the next time. So as you can see, it's a good basis for a game, and you will never see more than 7 platforms on the screen at a time, because again, all of these platforms come from our platform array that we set up, which only has 7 items within the array. So hopefully you guys enjoy this, and you're starting to understand the game development aspect of programming a little bit more. And I'll catch you in the next tutorial. Have a good one. See you later.